think it'd be right there.
The annual town council meeting for the town council. The first item on the agenda is an election of the chairman of the town council. Can I have nominations, please? Yes, Councillor Hall.
I'd like to propose Elizabeth Brewer.
Councillor Rowe. Seconds in. Any other nominations, please? No other nominations. Okay, so we'll just go straight to a vote if there are no other nominations. All those in favour of Councillor Brewer as chairman?
Brilliant.
21. Any against? Okay. Sorry?
4.
4, thank you. Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, so it was 22. That's unanimous, that's the word. Sorry, I lost the word. I couldn't remember the word. Thank you very much. Righty ho, so I should pass everything over to you. Councillor Brewer. Congratulations. Councillor Vernon. Yes, yeah. Something.
That's 22.
Okay, there we are.
Good evening, members. Thank you very much. Thank you for your trust in me and electing me, and it's an honour. And I look forward to be working with you all, and we work in unity for the benefit of the residents and the community. So let's hope we have a good year. And also, I'd like to take my thanks to Councillor Marion Vernon, her 2-year stint that she's done, from coming straight into council and all that you've achieved in your time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I have got a proposal, if that is fine with everybody. I would prefer to move number 3, election of the vice chair, to bar and bus, to postpone it, because I feel it's in good order to do that. Are we in agreement with that, members? Okay, thank you. If we could do that, please. So can we then move to the election of the vice chair of town council? Any proposals, please? Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to propose Councillor Lisa Newport.
Thank you. Is somebody seconding?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councillor Baldwin. Are there any other proposals for the vice chair? No? Then can we go to a vote, please, on that for Councillor Lisa Newport to be vice chair? I'll show of hands, please. What's the invitation? Oh, yes, you did.
I think sorry.
That's unanimous. So thank you, Lisa. Councillor Lisa Newport, if you'd like to play musical chairs again. Thank you.
Next year.
It's nice and snow.
Okay, thank you. So to our next item, that's improving youth provision, bar and bus proposal. I think I can see them. Would you like to address the members here?
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to say? Just stand, so everyone can see, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
So yeah, so I think in conversation with a few members and with Sean over the past few months, we've been exploring how we could increase and expand the work that we've been doing. As you know, we run a range of youth work across the town, across South Essex really. But some of our key work in Rayleigh has been, I suppose, the start of some of the expansion of our work over the last 7 years. So in Rayleigh itself, we currently run the bus at the skate park every Tuesday after school, but that also links to a range of other programmes. So currently our young women's programme is running out of premises at Rayleigh Baptist Church. We're running engagements in both of our town secondary schools, running wellbeing spaces in Swain Park School, lunchtime engagements in Fitzweimark, as well as one-to-one support in both of those schools as well. Across the week, we always want to do more with young people. And I guess in providing that safe space and building those relationships with young people, we've always found that there's always more to be done. And that there's that opportunity with young people to both provide those positive activities and safe spaces, but also then be able to expand with more intentional work as well, which again comes back to that link with our secondary schools, where we may chat to young people over the park who need that extra bit of support, that extra little bit of conversation. And our connection with our secondary schools allows us to work with them to provide that one-to-one support for young people and make a difference as well. Within Fitzweimark, for example, Diane, who's our youth worker for the district, crosses over with their bridge inclusion unit. Again, working with those young people who may struggle with mainstream education, working with them to stay engaged, stay connected, and look at different opportunities. And with the proposal that we've put to the council is to look at placing a second worker alongside Diane. Diane's spread across the entire district, but a lot of that work in Rayleigh needs to be sustained and needs to be expanded to provide more work. So placing this worker within that team will mean that we can explore new opportunities and reach more young people in the town, sustaining that work for the future. That's kind of the proposal, I guess, as it were.
Thank you very much. Any members would like to ask any questions? Councillor Stanley?
Thank you, Chair. Do you have any idea of how many inquiries you have from the when you're at King George's? Do you have any information to give us on that, please?
In terms of engagement.
Engagements, yeah.
Yeah. So our Tuesday King George's session tends to connect with between 25 and 30 young people each week. Again, it's an interesting engagement in that, because it's not say a youth club engagement where young people will be signed up and come along. It's about providing support for young people who are either already in the park hanging out, or because it's after school, making their way through. So it doesn't necessarily act as an attractional engagement, but more they're out anyway. And so it's providing and increasing that work. I suppose some of the expansion further than that weekly engagement is where we run things like the art project and the skate park project. And then those numbers become much different through those engagements. But weekly, it's about 25 to 30 young people that we see.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Newport was asking a question.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks, Jamie, for your presentation. On the report and the agreed activities. So I know in your projects, you're talking about Rayleigh Skate Park, and you also talk about Wolseley Park, which comes under Rorif. It doesn't come under this council. So one of the things that I'd be interested in with this proposal is that, well, I actually agree that we need youth provision for Wolseley Park, even though it's not really Town Council's responsibility. But what perhaps I would have liked to have seen in this proposal was maybe that you would have already approached Warwick Parish Council and also the district council, because there is a section 106 there for youth provision.
Yeah.
So that, whereas as you know, I'm fully supportive of your work and the projects that you do, and you know have previously funded that. I think if it was okay with you, I'd like you to go back and present an alternative proposal with that in mind. If you could speak to Warwick Parish Council.
Oh, of course, yeah, no, I think with expanding work that's being done, there's always more that can be. I think, and I suppose up until this point, the work that we've been doing has been done in wonderful collaboration with this council, not necessarily financial collaboration, so working with our parish councils would be a key part of that. I suppose it's that balance between what we can expand for the footprint of Rayleigh with this council, and then I suppose where Diane is across the whole of the district at the moment, and there has been support from Rochford District more recently for Diane's role in the expanding work. It just means that we're able to explore these things, I suppose, in a more of a fluid motion, that we can get certain things up and rolling and then build that connection as it goes. We don't have to necessarily wait for all the pennies to be in the pot before we can explore the developments and opportunities. For example, somewhere like Wolseley, it might be that as we explore some street-based work over there, we find that there are young people who want to connect and want to be connected with on that space. Or we might find that it's a completely dead youth work session, and the last thing you'd want to do is chase a parish council for something which is so geographically specific that you're not actually helping anyone in the community, because all those young people are living in Wolseley but ended up hanging out at Grange. So and I think this is sometimes the challenge of our geographical boundaries, is that young people don't know where they are and they hang out where they want to hang out in that sense. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, sorry, and if I can just come back, Chair, is that this proposal is nearly £20,000, but we don't know what budget we've got available. Can't see what we've got.
You set a budget of 25,500, so you would have sufficient in your budget to cover this and the Essex Youth Service contract.
Councillor Sparrow.
Thank you, Chairman. Two questions. One is you've just been answered, is the financial requirement. Second part, what more can we do? What do you want us as a town council to actually do?
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge.
I mean, Joey, look, we've got back donkey's years, but I appreciate the presentation, but is there something that you can say to us? This is what we would like you to do as a town council, that we can say, yep, okay, we'll go with that, or for whatever reason say no. I mean, if there's something that you can just put it to us.
Well, I think for me, the reason why I guess I'm asking for a part-time worker rather than a specific project is that youth work is based upon the connections and the needs of the young people that we have. And what you'd be investing in a worker is not necessarily being able to say, that's the thing we want and it's got to happen that way for all of eternity. But it's about saying, actually, we're investing in someone who looks at our town, who works with our young people and builds what they need, and has that flexibility and fluidity to build that programme. And so, again, placing a worker in place buys you a programme. It doesn't necessarily buy you an individual thing.
Okay.
So, because I think in the past we may have said, we need a youth club, so let's fund a youth club, and that's it. We've got a youth club, it's done. But I think the reality is we need a fluid and growing and reflective programme that actually connects with young people where they're at and builds those programmes with them at the centre. And that's, I guess, why I'm asking for the investment in the person.
Thank you.
That's fine, thank you.
Councillor Ward.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Jamie,
how often will the dedicated officer be around, or the worker be around within Rayleigh?
So we're looking at a part-time role within Rayleigh, they will solely be in Rayleigh, so we're provided with offices, Rayleigh Baptist provide us with an office, so they'd be based out of that office. And there will be someone who we would expect to have a heart and a desire to work in Rayleigh. That would be part of the interview process, would be, why do you care about this town? So this should be a worker who's solely focused on Rayleigh.
So it'll be Rayleigh based.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
So,
we're not a parachute in type organisation.
so councillor Standing.
Thank you, Chair. Just one last question, if I may, just that, the council have now, had John Fisher underneath their belts, if you like, to look after. Do you see yourself, doing anything in John Fisher in relation to the community in that area in the future?
I think within all different locations, then the advantage we have as a youth work team is that we are mobile and street based. So we're not, again, in a fixed location. So again, if working with the council is saying, actually, we're hearing that young people are gathering in this space and we'd like the team to see if they can engage with young people there and increase activity, then absolutely, we'd love to hear that. And I think that's been I suppose, a historic connection with this council has been having those conversations. You know, I suppose I go back to Councillor Sperring and Councillor Rowan. We've stood in the middle of Webster's Way about 15 years ago and tried to work out how to do something positive on the car park there. And but again, ultimately hearing from this group, as well as I sit on things like the community safety panel and various different other groups that said, actually, where are young people and where can we connect with them? We can be that fluid too. We're not a rapid response team, but we are happy to explore what could be done in different areas as the need arises. Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Lambourne.
Yeah, question for you. How long do you expect this person to be on the payroll for?
So, I mean, our hope with all of our appointments is that they build and they develop and they grow. And I think what I would welcome from this council is looking at whether, if this was a proposal that went forward this year and we were able to do it, having councillors who maybe whether a couple of councillors could be allocated to the project to reflect on it and explore actually how is it value for money, what's being achieved. And in an ideal world, I'd love to see that being something that could be replicated into future sustainable growth, sustainable funding for this work. I'd love to be able to see that. At the moment, the funds that are in place are for a part-time worker for a year.
Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thank you very much for allowing me to come back. One of the things that I was thinking about was it's trying to look at something from the base up. So actually asking the young people exactly what they want to do. And so you get the feedback, and then we can understand more of what, if we're going to actually provide something, as Dave was just saying, what do you want us to do? At least we need to have a good idea of what they want. It's very easy for us to suddenly say, we will provide this, that and the other. And they don't want it, don't use it, and are not interested in it. So it's more important that basically, I guess, in a way, you're going to be doing the research for us to enable us to understand what the young people in this town actually want, not foisting stuff on them, but actually understanding what they want and seeing if we can provide it.
Absolutely.
Would you say that's a fair?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the bread and butter of youth work is starting with young people and building work in collaboration with them. I suppose an example of, say, of our Basilwood work at the moment, we have a group of young people who've been working with an organisation called Make Space for Girls. So looking at the green spaces of Basildon and looking at actually where they felt incredibly unsafe for young women in the borough, the district, boroughs and districts mixed up. But within that area, they've worked with a chap where they've been consulted with and they've then presented to council opportunities to say these are developments within our green spaces which could actively make a difference for young women in our communities. So again, building in those types of programmes that say how could that work and connecting back in with this council could be a fantastic way of increasing the youth voice, but at the same time, really investing in our young residents and your opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, councillor. If I may, from my point of view, I think, councillor Newport here made the comments I was previously made about the Wolsey Park. I also noted your timescales on this plan end on February 26th, which was just a typo, it should be 27. So it's all right. So I was just saying before at the previous meeting, maybe we need those things changed to require this to be set in stone. Members, can I perhaps ask, we have considered the proposal. Are we at this point happy to look at this proposal and agree with the Wolsey Park in there, or do we want to make any other suggestions in the motion? Chris, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I proposed that with a little bit more information as to what the client actually is telling us in relation to what he intends to do for the future year, that is. And then we can put ourselves in with that answer, because at the moment I can't quite evaluate what this person's going to do and how many more they're going to help in relation to what they're doing at the moment. So, yeah.
And also I think that the point that Councillor James Newport made about approaching Watchwood District Council and Rawley Parish Council to see if we can fund this together rather than it all falling under Rayleigh Town Council is a good point, and maybe we should look at that.
Thank you, councillor. I think that's where I'm coming from. Councillor Sperry?
Yeah, I would support that, Chairman, but I think in principle that, you know, we can say that subject to getting positive responses on the other parties, we would be in a position to say, yes, we'll go with it. Even if the other parties are negative, I still feel that we should be prepared to say, yeah, okay, if we have to go on our own, we go on our own.
Yeah, I would totally agree with what Councillor Sperry has said. I think we've got to give Jamie an answer today that we are supportive of the proposal, but also understanding that if we can get other partners involved who are prepared to actually put in, that is great. If not, okay, fine, we'll do it on our own.
Councillor Wilson-Phil.
Thank you very much, Chair. My view is very much that we need to support this now. I don't want our youth to be disadvantaged at all. The clerk has already confirmed that we do indeed have the finances. If other councils or parishes wish to join in as well, I'm quite sure that Bar and Bus could use the additional staffing to actually just carry out more work within our area. I think we're all fully aware as to the issues that some of our youth have, and to defer or not agree for this going forward at this meeting, I think my personal view is that it would just be quite sad.
And I did defer from the last meeting for this. Councillor Mill.
Yeah, I agree with all these points, and for Jamie, I think if we drag this out, then it's going to punish slightly wrong foot of things, is it not?
I think sometimes the challenge is as well that, as I've said, there's a little bit about investing in something, and there is a level of unknown, but I think the level of unknown in terms of hammering down exact projects is difficult, because you almost need to have someone to hear from what's needed. And I think if I talk to Diane, who's running things on the ground, she will always say there's more to be done, but the capacity is what's stretched. And I think being able to hear that and say we can increase our street-based activity to hear more from young people will build that programme. I think Mr. Wilson said there's that challenge of we know there's something to be done, and if we are building on those relationships and that connection, the sooner we start that, the sooner that tangibility comes. But that's the challenge.
That's the point.
Right.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm with councillor Wilson on this. I think we need to make a decision tonight. It's not like Jamie is a stranger to us. We've known him for over 15 years. We know how he works, we know how he operates. And he's got the youth, the same as a lot of us around this table have at heart. Do we want to go in with any other councils? Yes, I agree about Royal Parish Council, that makes sense, but why Rochford? Rochford aren't going to be with us much longer, probably. So I think we need to do this as a parish straight town situation. So I think we should move on and support this tonight rather than hang around.
Thank you. So members, if nobody else wants to, I think we're all of the same opinion, we're all fully supportive of Bar and Bus, and we know what they do. So could I just see if we are all in favour of going ahead with this proposal tonight, please? Show of hands, please. Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you very much.
They proposed that, who was seconding that?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll be seconding, yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. So we have the apologies for absence. We just got one apology, and that's from councillor Sarah Jane Page. And from the beginning, I'd also like to say now, we'd like to welcome back councillor Christine Callis, who was successful at the elections last week. So thank you very much for rejoining us.
Very much. No surprise. Nice to be back.
Welcome.
Apologies. Do you mind if I beat that?
That's absolutely fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, but on a personal level, thank you for some of the very nice things you said about me in this. Yeah. But yeah, I look forward to keeping you updated in everything we're doing, but yeah.
Right, thank you
And
very
please
much.
scrutinise as much as you possibly can. But thank you so much. I'm going to go my childcare.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks all. Cheers.
Okay, so item 5, declaration of members' interest to declare pecuniary and non-pecuniary interests. Anything I need to, nobody? Thank you. Item number 6, minutes of the previous meeting, to approve the minutes of the full council meeting held on the 20th of April as an accurate record. Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, Chairman. Moving back to last month's meeting, where I and some of the councillors around this table were astonished that we were going to temporarily, according to some councillors, do away with our awards evening, and that the trophies, etc., had been sent on loan, and I repeat loan because that's what was said, to the museum. And you may recall that I said I had a meeting as I was being a member of the management committee that week. And like I said at the meeting, the museum don't take items on loan. I have checked with Mike Davis. We do have a signed document to say that those items are with them and not on loan. Just like that to be noted, please, Chairman.
Thank you. We note that, please. Yes, certainly, Councillor Leeson.
Thank you. So, following up on what you've just said, councillor Rowe, if they're not on loan, are they then given to them? Are they theirs? Can you?
Just to be clear, this item's about approving the minutes and not about matters arising, so we can't discuss this tonight.
Can we make sure it's on the next agenda?
Yes,
Chairman?
that's
Thank you.
Was there anything else, members, on those minutes? Otherwise, we approve them. All agree?
Yeah.
The public session to receive representations, questions from members of the public. Are there any members of the public that wish to speak? No, you said no.
Oh, that's no.
That's it, from then we go to speak. Thank you. The clerk's report. To note the report of items for information from the town clerk and the responsible financial officer who followed. We've had those. Are there any comments arising from those? So we've briefly all seen those. Noted. Thank you. So item 9, the committee structure for 26-27. I think we've all seen them and got them in front of us. So we've got 9.1, the planning committee, establish the committee in terms of reference. 9.2, community services committee to consider and establish a community service committee and agree the terms of reference. The same for 9.3, environmental services committee, and 9.4, the staffing committee. Are there any comments, members? Councillor Rowe.
Thank you, Chairman. So I don't agree with these committees. I agree that we have a planning, I agree that we have community, I agree we have environmental staffing, yes, obviously that's a very important part of council. Policy and finance. Where are we going to discuss our finances? All council isn't the right place, in my opinion. Also, oh no, we'll move on to that and I'll come back at that on number 10. I just don't agree that we just have these full committees, and I certainly don't agree that we have one meeting every quarter. We've proved in the last couple of council meetings that we need to have committee meetings and more of them to get things through. We've sat here, we've done nothing, absolutely nothing, other than defer items at full council where they're not being discussed enough. So I'm sorry, I can't support this.
Thank you, Councillor Stanley.
Thank you, Chair. As chair of the Open Spaces and Allotments Committee, I do find that this idea of throwing it all in one lump with 7 members is just too much. Just too much. The times that I have tried and done my utmost to improve it by having a better understanding of committee members and their meetings with the environment and the allotments. It's just not going to work out once a quarter. Times are moving very fast and we need to move fast with them. And so that way we could do that by having different committees moving exactly at the same speed as what outside is going. At this moment, once a quarter is not practical. And I would say that again, it's not practical. It needs more involvement by committee members and having those committees at regular times, either 6 weeks or 8 weeks apart. But once a quarter, forget it. Because by the time you've decided what you're going to do on the first of the month, by the time you get to the 4th month, when you have the next meeting, everything's gone haywire and you don't understand what's going on. So I'm sorry, but no is the answer.
Thank you, Councillor Stanley. Is there anybody else on here? I think Councillor Wilson was first on the Wilson.
Sorry. Thank you, Chair. Just like to say I'm clearly out of step of from my colleagues that have already spoken. I quite like the idea of this. I think it's a bit of a breath of fresh air. There is nothing to stop us having working groups or focus groups, and if necessary to call meetings more often if it's necessary, as exactly as Councillor Stanley said, regarding timescales and getting actions done. Yeah, my view is I think this is a really good idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Longley.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm just a bit confused because I agree with most of what's been said, not all of what's been said by the councillor next to me, but who has actually decided that these committees would exist in this way, and who decided who the membership should be? According to councillors' expertise and interests, well, who knows that? Our clerk hasn't ever spoken to me, so he doesn't know my expertise or interests. Is anyone able to answer those 2 questions?
No, that's not.
That's what's intended.
Okay. Currently, we're going to cover that on membership.
We'll cover separately.
We'll remember those questions for the next item. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Councillor Sparing.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll go along with, to a large extent, quite surprisingly with Councillor Stanley. But thank you. I honestly believe that we should defer the structure of these committees, whether we want just 4 committees. I think we should, this is personal view, arrange for a special meeting 2 weeks' time so that we can discuss not only what committees we feel will be appropriate, because historically the ones we had served the council pretty well. And as Councillor Rose said, well, we're going to talk about our finances and our policies and where we go on some of these things. At the same meeting, if we could defer it a couple of weeks, we can then, and the chairman, we bring in item number 10 as well, and where members can suggest where they would like to go and their expertise and what they can bring to the party. That's it, Chairman. Thank you.
Then let's ask Councillor Sparrow, were you proposing a motion on that?
Yes, Jim. Yes, certainly.
Okay, that's fine.
I'll
Thank
second
you.
that.
Councillor Mill, you wanted to speak on that?
Along the same lines, policy and finance gives us a focus. And if you've been on it, you would know. And so does allotments, oddly enough. That can be quite interesting.
Thank you.
So I'm all for Councillor Spearing's motion as well.
Can I just ask members, is there anybody that's got a differing opinion that hasn't spoken would like to? Councillor Lingham.
Can I ask, we're talking about how we'd like to go back to the old ones, but could I ask why the clerk has chosen these and this format so we get an understanding why it's actually been chosen this way?
Yes, I'd be happy to do that. Obviously, we agreed several months ago to suspend the committees while I reviewed it. And this was the recommendation I was putting forward. Ultimately, it is up to members. The reason why I didn't suggest that we reinstate policy and finance was largely I felt full council could cover those matters because individual policies relating to the areas such as environmental services and community services would be dealt with by those committees. So they would take up some of the workload. They'd be looking at their own budgets as well. And yeah, obviously it was agreed, it was recognised beforehand that obviously we had too many meetings going on. It would delay in actions being able to be taken by the council. And so the priority was to try and establish a committee structure that would enable us to actually get on with delivering actions for the community. And yeah, make the council work as efficiently as possible.
Does that answer your question, Councillor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ian, we want to comment?
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, I think it's a brilliant idea. Generally speaking, in the world of discussion, a smaller but more focused committee gets a lot more done and done a lot more quickly. In fact, there is a school of thought that says that the best size for a committee is 2 people with 1 officer. I think you'll be able to make faster decisions and better decisions because this is smaller. And I would certainly endorse what's going on here. Second thing is, I can't see anything in here that actually refers to scrutiny. Who's checking that what's going on is right? Is that left to the participating members? What's the position?
Sorry, Councillor Newport.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm supportive of both what Councillor Sparrow and Councillor Rose said and Councillor Lumley, because we've got we've been asked to consider these committees. But one of the things that I've looked at is LGR, which we need to deal with as a council, and I don't see where these committees cover it, and we haven't had a list of working groups given to us either of what would stay and what would go and where they report to. So that really concerns me. So I'm supportive of Councillor Sparring's motion to defer this to 2 weeks, so we could consider this further and members can have more of a input into the future committee structure. Thanks.
Councillor O'Leary, please.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just to be clear, I completely agree with what's been said by most people. Just in terms of what we're deferring to in terms of the 2 weeks, we're gonna say, what, we're gonna call an extraordinary general meeting, is that the idea? Okay, because I completely agree with that, but what I would have liked to have seen previously to this being brought forward, and I think maybe this could be, something to help us when we get to that extraordinary general meeting, is, extraordinary council meeting, is some sort of briefing where we can get together and thrash out ideas. You know, like I've heard other people say, well, I'd like to see a scrutiny committee. I'd like to see a finance committee. I've seen other councils have a governance committee or a standards committee, right? These are things that we need to be given time to think about and discuss as a group. And maybe it doesn't need to be in such a formal setting. I don't know if we have any capacity or if it's allowed to have a brief. We do them at district council, we have member briefings. Maybe we can have a member briefing here where we can talk things through a little bit more. But again, if that's not possible, I don't know if that's possible or not, but I agree with, you know, we do need to defer this, so we need to have time to think about it. Thank you.
Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thank you very much. Obviously, the thing that's missing for me is a scrutiny, but I think that policy and finance can actually act within that role as looking at everything in its entirety. So I think it's going to be very, very important to have policy and finance, which will also will have the same role as a scrutiny in making sure that everything is as it should be and all the questions that need to be asked are asked. So we understand exactly where we are. And maybe, again, where we're talking about the budgets of different committees, they need to feed into policy and finance so that policy and finance actually understand what's happening. Because we do need to understand what is being used, how each committee is deciding on how they're going to use their budget, forward budgets. So we need to understand all those various things. But I think there's too much for each committee to go through, in my opinion. And we need to split it in a way that doesn't make it too onerous for each one, because it'll get bogged down and all of a sudden everything will have to be deferred or carry on. We need to have something that's going to be easy and malleable for this council to be able to go through and make decisions on the night. So obviously we're going to need to have the facts, we're going to need to have everything in front of us to be able to make those decisions. Because what has happened in the past, we don't have the facts, we don't have the right tools to make a good decision. And that's all I'm asking for. We need the right tools to make the right decisions on the night.
Thank you.
Policy and finance also flips back into audit.
Correct.
And that and scrutiny will go together with it. So it's you know, an essential thing.
Thank you, members. Could I, looking down from item 9, I don't know if you want to take these on mass, because I also think that involves item 10. So could we say that?
Sorry, Chair, we would, Councillor Lumley would like an answer to her question, which, if the clerk could, who deferred it till we get to item 10 about who decided on the memberships.
So shall we take for number 9, 1, 2, 3 and 4?
Yeah.
That we defer?
Yeah.
Would you like to raise this, please, on defer? Against? Deferral? And abstaining. So that item is deferred. So moving on to item 10. And this is where Councillor Lovely would like some replies, please.
Yeah, so the question was around how these have been formulated. So as I put in my note, it was on if I knew your councillor area of expertise, or area of interest, if I've had the opportunity to talk to you. I appreciate some councillors I haven't. Those of you that I haven't, I email today to get those meetings scheduled in, or if it's based on previous committee membership. So looking at what committees you've done in previous years and trying to align you best to that committee. So that's how we reach the recommendations. but it was entirely for members to play around with. It was just a starting point.
That's one.
Thank you. If I may respond to that, as I've been on this council from 1997, I have been on every committee many times
Yeah.
and chaired the council twice, and therefore been of those 2 years on attending all committees ex officio as well. So I think it would be quite difficult for anyone to really understand where my interests lie and where my expertise lie. Thank you.
That's the reason you thought, please.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, if I may, to the clerk. Again, I've just checked my emails and I haven't received any emails from you about the committees.
Yeah.
You just committee membership. So can you just check to see if everybody's emails are actually working?
Yeah,
please?
I'll follow that up, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Newport. I was just going to say, I've got mine in front of me and I haven't received anything today.
And I didn't receive anything today.
Perhaps if we can check that, make sure they go out to us.
Can I also just bring up a point, please? You put a lot of stuff, if I may just speak directly. You put a lot of stuff on SharePoint, which I think a lot of people found maybe difficult to get to. I then transferred everything onto PDF, and I did share it with my colleagues who were unable to get on to SharePoint. So I think that might be considered, it might be a lovely idea for, the more technical of us, but the rest of us maybe not be as technical and just require the PDFs.
Yes, so myself and Karen both circulated all the PDFs as attachments to the email, so that went out twice to all councillors.
Okay.
So.
Councillor Vernon.
So I'd like to suggest, as we've deferred the committees, that when we get to the committee membership thing, that we do get an opportunity to put our names forward for the committees that we would be interested in being on, please.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we go back now, if we're all happy with the clerk's answers, that we're going to vote to defer this matter. Can I see a show of hands, please? I propose.
Who seconded?
Sorry, could I see the show of hands again, please? Thank you. And those against deferral? And abstain? Anybody not voted?
Richard, Lindsay, how did you vote?
I voted for deferral.
Thank you. So that item's been deferred. Thank you. So now we come on to the annual review of council administration and 11.1, the schedule of meetings. I also feel that this will follow on, that will be deferred. Agreed, members? Thank you. So 11.2, key holders, to review and approve the key holders for council buildings and assets. Councillor Newport, James Newport.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to propose that we add you as a key holder as well, Chair, to all areas. So that we've got staff member but also a councillor.
I'd like to second that.
Thank you, Councillor. I must say that I looked at it and thought that because some of our clerks actually live much further away and another one that's close, it was actually on holiday, it could be a difficulty. So I'm happy to accept that. Are we all happy to go with that?
Yeah,
Agreed. Thank you very much. The banking arrangements, to review and approve the list of bank account signatures for 26-27. Any comments for that?
Can I just add?
Yes.
There's some amendments, so we all, Councillor Lamble, Councillor Wall and Councillor O'Leary are also staying on. They were already signatories, there is missed this, so they'll also be staying on as signatories.
We get that.
Sorry, can you just say the full list?
All right, so
Signatures then.
I am sorry, if I'm just saying it. So the bank accounts and authorised payments for Councillor Vilma Wilson, Councillor Marianne Vernon, Councillor Natasha Gallop, Councillor Stanley, Councillor Ian Wilson, Councillor Lambourne, Councillor Ward, and Councillor O'Leary.
And then add Sarah, I think.
we've also got that we might want to add councillor Sarah Jane Page. Is everybody in agreement with this? Councillor Rowe, please.
No. Thank you, Chair.
Sorry.
With my banking hat on, I don't feel it appropriate that we have two members from the same family as signatories, unless you stipulate that they can't sign together.
They do. That's been.
That is a
practice.
definite
Yeah,
standard
yeah,
practice.
that's standard practice.
I don't, I'm protecting them more than anything else. Okay. And one other thing, sorry, I don't see that we need, in the end, you're gonna have everyone signing. Let's all put our names down. Why do we need any more? Let's stick with the ones we've got.
Just because, sometimes people are unavailable, so we've sometimes had a few, we've sometimes had a few days, difficulty in getting payments authorised, and we need to make them much quicker. So that's why we're just proposing to add one extra person.
I believe there are 8 names without adding another person, is that correct then? Councillor Vilma Wilson.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would just like to state that myself and councillor Ian Wilson have never approved the same payments ever. That was a point that the office and ourselves had conversation with at the very beginning of this. However, in light of concern from some of the members here, I would like to retract myself and Ian and councillor Ian Wilson from being signatories, because then that removes any doubt. Thank you.
Councillor Wilson. So thank you. I'm understanding that councillor Ian Wilson and councillor Vilma Wilson are retracting their names from that list and no longer.
We are for the assurance for our fellow members. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to say that, I understand why, please understand why we're doing this. I'm actually also a little offended that we're even considered to be made, that we're doing quite the right thing. And that is absolutely not the case. You always go absolutely straight.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't think that was the intention of what I was listening to.
Chairman,
I think councillor Rowe just wants to.
that totally isn't the case. I am a very qualified banker and I'm protecting them.
Thank you very much. Is that okay? Thank you. So we're down to 6 signatures.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Councillor Newport.
Yes, we. Probably need to put the person then.
Yeah, Chairman, in light of that, then I think you can invite in other members to put forward nominations for other signatories or nominate themselves. If it's nominations, I'm happy to nominate other members.
Yeah.
So I'll get.
So may I just ask the clerk, are you looking at another one member?
Yeah, with the recommendation obviously for councillor Page already, we just need one more person to make it better.
So we're going to propose councillor Page and anybody else that needs to be proposed, is that correct?
Yes, need one more person.
May I make a suggestion, Chair? So if we've got more than, I understand that we've just lost 2 councillors as a signatory. So if there are other members that would like to put their name on as a signatory, and we're going to have 8 members, then I think people need to be proposed, seconded and voted in. If that to me feels like the correct.
Yeah. There is a box.
Yeah.
So we've got proposal then from Sarah Jane Page, councillor Sarah Jane Page. Who else would be proposing themselves or anybody else?
I
Councillor
propose
Rowe.
councillor Dave Sperrin, please.
Councillor Dave Sperrin to be proposed. Any other members?
I propose councillor Ryan.
Chairman, if I can come in there, to be fair, I was a signatory for many years. It's very difficult for the office to get hold of me now, so
Okay.
that was the only reason that I stood back.
So councillor Rowe, you're going to be proposed by councillor.
Well, councillor Rose did strongly.
Only on those grounds that I'm difficult to get hold of, and it will hold everyone up. So,
Councillor Lumley, I propose councillor Lumley. Councillor Lumley would be happy to accept that proposal.
I would.
I'll second that.
Yes.
I'll second those proposals.
So can we just have the.
So you've got two proposals. Councillor Wright proposed, Councillor Sperrin, seconded by Councillor Newport, and then Councillor Lisa Newport proposed Councillor Lumley, which was seconded by Councillor James Newport.
And who's proposed councillor Page?
I don't think anyone has it on here. Councillor Lamble.
Can I just withdraw Councillor Page's proposal?
Oh,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Oh, so should we just take a vote?
So should we take a vote on those, please? But it's councillor Sparing
Councillor Sperrin.
And councillor Longman.
those in favour of councillor Sparing first, please. Thank you. Those not in favour? Those abstaining? And then for councillor Lumley. Thank you. And those against? Abstaining?
Yep.
Thank you very much. Thank you, members. So payments by 11.4, payments by standing order and direct debit. To notice schedule of payments by standing order and direct debit is being compiled and will be presented to the next full council meeting. We've noted that. Thank you. Councillor Lisa Newport would like clarification, please, Clark.
Is that the scheduled full council meeting or the extra full council
It
meeting?
would have been for the scheduled.
The scheduled one, right, okay.
Chair,
Yes, that's a.
if I may, thank you. With this, the payments of standing orders, has any alterations been made to any standing orders that we now pay or did pay? Will that be coming out at the next full council?
The schedule of all the current standing orders will be presented to the next full council.
And those that we have stopped paying, will they be coming out as well? Because from what I understand is that we're changing electric supplier and a few other bits and pieces.
Direct debit, yes, so all the current standing orders, direct debits that are in place at the moment will be presented in that schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Councillor James Newport.
Yeah, sorry, I did ask the clerk about the payments and receipts list that we haven't seen. That was gonna come to this meeting, when's that gonna come?
That'll be to the next schedule for council.
So that's because that's not standing orders and direct debit.
Yeah, that's separate.
Yeah, but it's not on here, that was all.
No, it's in my clerk's report.
All right, okay, thanks.
Thank you. So we're all having those noted. 11.5, asset register. To note the council's asset register is in the process of being reviewed and will be presented to the next full council meeting. Very much, members. Item 12, council governance. 12.1, standing orders. To review and approve the council standing orders for 26-27 municipal year. Any members wish to speak on that? Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah. And this is the same for 12.2 as well. I'm not clear what's been changed. There's no track changes. It's all well and good saying go away and look at them yourselves, but we look for guidance from the clerk here. I would expect to see that tonight. So for that reason, I will not be supporting the changes for this. I will be moving to defer them until such time as we understand what is actually changing and if they are in line with NALC governance and stands model and model standing orders. Thank you.
So, is that a motion?
Yeah, I'm moving to defer this going to an extraordinary council meeting where we can actually get the appropriate information to make a decision on this.
And you say you want this to apply to 12.1 and 12.2?
Yeah.
12.3.
Yeah, and 12.3. Yeah.
The ward, was that?
That was, I wanted to know what these motions were.
Do you have a second?
So the motion is that we defer these. All those in agreement, please. Those against deferment? Three. That's four. Those abstaining? That's two. Thank you. So we are deferring that item, of those items 12.1, 2 and 3.
Chair, may I speak, please?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. I have, in my, whole career of attending meetings, I have never been, a request has never been made to, produce track changes. I think if you, there's nothing wrong with doing your own research just to find out what's changed. I think we need to be really, really careful because, in future meetings, I'm just concerned that we'll be asking the clerk how many full stops we've actually got in the written agenda. That's just my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor O'Leary.
Yeah, if I can respond to that. In my career, I've been to many meetings where there's been track changes. It's vital to understand what is being changed. So, you know, like, it's not about doing your homework. What it's about is understanding.
Sorry. I would appreciate that we don't have any of these comments while somebody is talking. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, councillor.
Yeah, so I think, you know, it's important that we understand what is changing. And it is common practice. I don't really see why that is controversial. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Ward.
Yeah, thank you very much, Chairman. Yeah, if I could make reference to one of the most complicated documents ever created, the NPPF. There is changes that go all the way through that document as it gets renewed, so people can understand what was the last iteration and what is the current iteration. And I think understanding the changes is vital, because then we can see, is it a good change? Is it a bad change? Do we agree with the change even? So, you know, I'm happy with that.
Councillor James Newton, please.
Thank you, Chair, and I'll just come in my career, we have version control. So it actually laid out at the front what different versions were and why they've been changed. So people understand changes that have been made. So I don't think it's asking too much. And we have been previously at this council presented with fact changes when we're looking at financial exam standing orders by previous clerks. And that goes back from the time that I started on here, and I'm sure Councillor Lumley has got a wider experience of that.
Absolutely. If I could just add to that, Chairman, that we always had previously a subcommittee that looked at each year the standing orders and financial regulations, and a very able chair for many years is sitting just over there, and always did her homework.
Yeah.
And we had reports that showed us what the fact changes were, and we were able to discuss them and agree or amend and make a final decision.
Thank you, councillor. I've not been on the committee or this council for as long as most people, probably. But I must confess that I found them very useful when I've had the new standing orders and track changes, to get to terms with it and understand what had changed. It was easier, and nothing was overlooked. The changes weren't overlooked. That's from my point. I think Councillor Sperry wanted to speak.
No.
Sorry.
Must sit on my hands, Chairman.
That was Councillor Lee's viewpoint telling me you wanted to speak. Councillor Byrne.
So it's not just what has changed, but why it has changed is also what I would like to know.
Certainly. That's a noted. So. Fine. Sorry, I was scribbling next to it, sorry. So 12.4, publication scheme. To review and approve the council's publication scheme for the 2026-27 municipal year. Which is anybody? Want to make any comments? Noting that?
Just a questions.
Certainly.
For you, Chair, so is the publication scheme a standard scheme?
Yeah, so this is the template from the Information Commissioner's office.
Thank you. So that would take us in line with the transparency. Is there anything to do with transparency?
Yeah, no, it's like the transparency code.
Yeah.
The business or
I support this. Thank you.
Thank you. That's lovely.
Just a small point, Chairman, reading down, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes down where it refers to contact details with the parish clerk. I'd quite like to see the town clerk mentioned there. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we move on to 12.5 then? Is this happening? Oh, sorry, we did vote on that, that's one, sorry. 12.4, can we take a vote on that, please? In favour?
Who seconded that, sorry?
I'll second it.
That's everyone, yeah.
Yes, unanimous on that one, thank you. And that comes to 12.5, the employee handbook, to review the council's employee handbook, including all employment related policies for 26-27 municipal year. Are there any?
If I could just add, so if the job of the staffing committee, obviously during the year, they review the employee handbook. It's just at annual council meeting, you just have to essentially agree the document as is, and then they'll carry on doing the changes throughout the year, working with Worknest or our HR advisors. So yeah, we have to do manually kind of sign off on a document, but it's actually the staffing committee to manage it going forward.
Fluid document, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I'd just like to add to that, if I may. Our legal advisors from Worknest did ratify this document back in October 25. And so it has been ratified. The only updates, which rightly the clerk says that should be reviewed by the staffing committee going forward, are any additional policies or new legislation that has actually taken place in April 2026 this year. But this is not an external document. I want to remind all councillors this is an internal document only.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Are we all happy with that? It's agreed. Thank you. So item 13, the community lottery. To consider a proposal to introduce the Brady Town Community Lottery following receipt of further information. We saw the information at the last meeting, it was deferred, and certain questions were asked.
Yeah.
And we had a reply. Have all councillors managed to see that? We haven't received it. Are there any comments on the lottery, please? Oh, Mr. Stanley.
Thank you, Chair. I haven't seen the reply from other councils that had this scheme going. Unfortunately, I've not been well these past couple of meetings, and I haven't received it from the clerk. But my view, I do believe that we tried this somewhere around the 2014, 2016 time, when I first joined the council.
No recollection of that.
I do think that there is something in this, but it wasn't taken up at that time. There was, I don't know if it was a lottery or what it was. There was some sort of idea going about, and it never got past its stage of agreeing it.
If I could, Councillor Stanley, I think maybe this is a newer project that's come about that we've been looking into. I think the officers have been looking into. And I think that what I was referring to is a reply from one of the ladies at Gatherwell, which is what her status is. Sorry. But she said it's the easy one. No town councils have failed in this. Once the lottery's set up and launched, it largely looks after itself from a council perspective. They care for the day-to-day management and work directly with local causes to promote the lottery and drive ticket sales. Performances can vary, but town councils outperform larger district councils with ticket sales. And it just says, like others, Hyde generate fewer sales, but are still very happy with the level of funding coming back into their communities. Overall, it's a low-risk model that consistently delivers a positive return with minimal outgoing input from the council. And so with that, I think was the letter I was referring to that came out. I don't think there'd been anything else.
Who was that from, by the way? What council was that?
Gatherwell.
That's the lottery people that run the lottery.
Well, they're better, I think. No, I'm just thinking of, have we got any information from councils that have done or operated this
But, well, the one that was on that letter was high.
Just one, is it?
Could I just move on to councillor Stanley, because I've got two councillors want to speak first. Thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Newport.
Thank you, Chair. I'm actually supportive of this. They've come back and answered the questions that we've put over. It seems like a low risk model. I know Essex County Council operate the lottery, but they're going to disappear anyway. So it's good that we can step into the space. So happy to support.
Councillor Bernard, please.
That's what I was going to say, same as councillor James Newport, and I'd like to propose that we accept their proposal.
Thank you as a seconder.
Yeah.
Who's second? Oh, you wish to speak, councillor Wilson?
I think it's a great thing. I think we should be doing it. We should have done it previously, but we're not doing it now. And I just have one question. If you look through the level of rewards on that document, each pound spent on the lottery, council gets 10p. That's good, yeah. But Gatherwell get 18.2. Now, is that a set of numbers they gave to us and we've accepted it, or have we negotiated to get there? I'm a bit surprised that they get more money out of it than we do.
Yes, that's their running costs and the staffing, so from what I understand, yes, on that one. So councillor Burnham proposed, there's no other councillors want to speak. Second. All those in favour, please.
Ian, sorry, how are you voting?
No, I'm just abstaining on this one.
So, thank you very much. Those against? And those abstaining? That's the standing council. Thank you. So that's carried. So we're going to look at the community offering. Just take this work in the office and they're saying. So item 14, the general power of competence resolves that council meets the eligibility for general power of competence under the Localism Act 2011, namely a qualified clerk and at least 2/3 of members being elected.
Agree.
Everybody happy? Thank you very much. I've not missed anything else. Thank you. If I may, it's not on the agenda, but the Israeli Town Council do support the Metro Action Week, which is next week, starting from Sunday. If anybody wants to come up to High Street and help decorate the High Street, I'll be doing very well. But it was also, now let me get this right, because it's Mental Health Action Week, where they want action. So it may be something we could consider in the future, that we put our support behind these things. And that's just a comment from myself. Maybe we could put that on the agenda at some other point. Thank you. So that is 8:42. So this meeting is closed, and then we have got the KGB meeting. Thank you very much, members. Thank you for appointing me. Hopefully I'll see you sometime. I'm sorry, this is where members of the public will have to vacate.